She's gone and you're still here, stuck in this strange twilight where everything reminds you of her. The song that comes on in the car, the restaurant you used to go to, even the way the light hits your room in the morning feels different now. Quieter, emptier. You keep replaying it all in your head, wondering what you could have done differently, what you should have said, how you might have saved it. And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this quiet, desperate hope that she'll realize she was wrong, that she'll come back, that this whole nightmare will just undo itself. But here's the thing. Nobody wants to tell you. The thing that sounds almost cruel until you actually understand it. She might come back. In fact, there's a pretty good chance she will, but it won't happen the way you think. It won't be because you texted her the perfect thing or because you finally explained yourself in a way that makes sense. It'll happen when you stop waiting, when you stop checking your phone every 10 minutes, when you've genuinely moved on and built something new without her. That's when she'll feel it. That's when the absence becomes real to her. And by then, you might not even care anymore. That's not a strategy. That's just how this works. Right now, the version of the biggest mistake men make after breakup that's hoping, waiting, refreshing her profile to see if she's posted something. That version is invisible to her, worse than invisible. It's confirmation that leaving was the right move. Because what you're doing, all this pining and wondering and digital stalking, it's not love, it's need. And need is the least attractive thing a person can project. She didn't fall for someone who needed her. She fell for someone who had a life, a direction, a presence that existed with or without her attention. And somewhere along the way, that person disappeared. You became the guy who revolved around her. And when that happened, the gravity shifted. She drifted. Not because she stopped caring, because there was nothing left to orbit. If you're here because you're tired of the surface level advice, the just move on or she doesn't deserve you stuff that doesn't actually help, then stay. Subscribe if you want the real conversation, not the one designed to make you feel better for 5 minutes. This isn't about getting her back. It's about understanding why she left in the first place and becoming the kind of person who doesn't get left. And if she does come back, you'll be in a position to choose, not just accept whatever she offers. That's the shift. That's what we're here to figure out. Let's be honest about what happened. She didn't leave over one fight. It wasn't the thing you said last Tuesday, or the plans you can lead, or the text you forgot to send. Those were just symptoms. What actually happened is that over time, slowly, so slowly, you didn't even the psychology of attraction and absence notice. You stopped being the person she was drawn to. Maybe you got comfortable. Maybe you started treating the relationship like it was the finish line instead of something you still had to show up for. Maybe you made her the center of your universe and expected her to feel honored by that. But she didn't. She felt suffocated because when someone makes you their everything, it stops feeling like love and starts feeling like responsibility. Think about when you first met her. You had your own thing going on. You had friends, hobbies, goals that mattered to you. You weren't trying to impress her every second. You were just living and she got to be part of that. That's what pulled her in. The fact that you didn't need her. You just enjoyed her. But then something shifted. The relationship became the main event and everything else faded into the background. Started planning your days around her schedule. You stopped making plans with your friends. You let the gym membership lapse. You put your goals on hold. And little by little, you turned into someone whose whole identity was wrapped up in being her boyfriend. And when she looked at you, she didn't see the man she fell for anymore. She saw someone who disappeared into the relationship, and that scared her, so she left. Now you're doing exactly what every guy does when this happens. You're trying to prove yourself. You're texting her these long, thoughtful messages, explaining how you've changed, how you understand now how things will be different. You're liking her posts, watching her stories, hoping she notices. Maybe you've even becoming the high-value man, shown up somewhere you knew she'd be, playing it off like it's a coincidence. And every single one of those moves, no matter how well-intentioned, is doing the same thing. It's telling her that you're still stuck, that you're still the guy who needs her to feel whole, that nothing has actually changed. And so she keeps her distance, not because she's heartless, because she can't respect someone who doesn't respect himself enough to walk away. Here's the part that stings. While you're sitting there dissecting every moment of the relationship, trying to figure out how to fix it, she's living, she's going out, she's talking to new people, she's posting pictures where she looks happy, maybe even happier than she looked with you. And you're seeing all of this and it's tearing you apart. But here's what you're missing. She's not happy because you're gone. She's happy because she's free from the weight of being your entire world. That's the difference. You made her responsible for your happiness. And when someone carries that weight long enough, leaving feels like relief. So what do? You stop. You stop texting. You stop explaining. You stop hoping that if you just say the right thing, she'll see the light. Because she won't. Not while you're chasing. The only thing that has a chance of changing her mind is seeing that you've changed your life. And I don't mean posting gym selfies or inspirational quotes. I mean actually rebuilding, actually becoming someone who's living fully, who's got momentum, who's invested in something bigger than whether or not she texts back. Let me tell you what this looks like in practice. You wake up one morning and instead of reaching for your phone to see if she's messaged, you get up and do something. You go to the gym. You work on the project you've been putting off. You call a friend you haven't talked to in months. You start filling your life with things that the no contact rule that actually works matter. Things that make you feel like yourself again. And at first it's hard. It feels performative. It feels like you're just going through the motions. But you keep doing it day after day, and slowly something shifts. You stop thinking about her every 5 minutes. You stop checking her profile. You start caring more about what you're building than what she's doing. And that's when the real change happens. Not because you're trying to get her back, because you're genuinely moving forward. And here's the wild part. She'll feel it. Even if you're not talking, even if you've cut off all contact, she'll sense the shift. Maybe she hears about you from a mutual friend. Maybe she sees something you posted, something that's not about her, not about the breakup, just you living, and it throws her off because she expected you to fall apart. She expected you to be stuck in this loop of sadness and regret. And instead, you're building something. You're smiling in pictures, you're busy, you're present, and that messes with her head in a way that no amount of explaining or begging ever could. But let's talk about the guy who actually pulls this off. He's not some emotionless machine. He's not pretending he didn't care about her. He did. Maybe he still does. But he's made a decision. He's decided that his life doesn't pause for someone who chose to leave. He wakes up with purpose. He's got a routine that grounds him. Morning coffee, workout, work that matters. He's building unstoppable confidence, reconnected with his people, the friends who make him laugh, who remind him of who he was before all this. He's picked up old hobbies or found new ones. Maybe he's learning something, building something, creating something. And it's not for show. It's because he realized that waiting around for someone to decide his worth is the weakest position a person can take. When he goes out, he's not scanning the room for her. He's not hoping she'll see him and regret everything. He's just there fully present, enjoying the moment. People feel that energy. It's calm, confident, free, and women notice. Not because he's trying to make anyone jealous, because genuine confidence is rare. And when you stop needing validation, you become the most interesting person in the room. This guy doesn't talk about his ex. He doesn't post vague quotes about betrayal or growth. He doesn't perform his healing for an audience. He just lives. And that silence, that absence of desperation, it speaks louder than anything he could say because it's real. And real is magnetic. Now let's say she does reach out. Maybe it's a random text, hey, how have you been? Maybe it's a comment on something you posted. Maybe she finds an excuse, some shared thing from the past that gives her a reason to message. And this is where most guys blow it. They see that text and their heart jumps. They think, this is it. Focus on your mission, not her. She's coming back. And they respond immediately, pouring everything into that reply. They're available. They're eager. They're back to being the guy she left. And within a week, she's distant again because nothing changed. You just proved you were waiting. You just proved you're still that same person, but you're different now. So when she reaches out, you respond. But you're not in a rush. You're busy. You've got things going on. Your reply is warm, but brief. You're not cold, not trying to punish her, but you're also not dropping everything to have a 3-hour text conversation about what went wrong. You keep it light, you keep moving, and that does something to her because she expected you to be available. She expected you to jump. And when you don't, when you have the self-respect to stay in your lane, it forces her to reconsider everything. Maybe you really have moved on. Maybe she actually lost something valuable, and maybe she steps up. Maybe she's more intentional the next time. Maybe she calls instead of texts. Maybe she's vulnerable, admits. She made a mistake, asks to see you. And if that happens, you still don't rush. You listen. You assess. Is this real? Is this just her testing? Whether you're still an option? Is she showing up because she genuinely sees what she lost? Or because she's bored? Or because whoever she was seeing didn't work out? Why she'll start reaching out? You have to know the difference. And if you're honest with yourself, you will. Because you're not desperate anymore. You're discerning. Let me tell you what doesn't work. Pretending you don't care when you do. Playing games. Posting things to make her jealous. That's still reactive. That's still giving her power. What works is actually not caring whether she sees it or not. What works is building a life so full that whether she's in it or not becomes secondary. That's not a tactic. That's a standard. That's what self-respect looks like when it's not performing. Here's the reality you have to sit with. She might not come back. She might move on completely. She might meet someone else and be happy, and that's going to hurt. There's no way around that. But here's what's also true. By the time that happens, you'll be so deep into your own life that it won't destroy you. It'll sting. Sure, you might have a rough night, but you won't spiral because you've built something real. You've reconnected with yourself. You've remembered what it feels like to live for you, not for someone else's approval. And that foundation doesn't crumble just because someone chooses a different path. But honestly, she probably will come back. The final steps before she begs. Not because of some magic trick, because you stopped being the guy who needed her and became the guy she needed. The one with direction, the one who doesn't beg, the one who knows his worth and doesn't negotiate it. That transformation, that's what makes people regret walking away. Not your words, your life. So, here's what you do today, right now. Delete her number, unfollow her on everything. And I know that sounds extreme, but listen, you can't heal in the same space that hurt you. You can't move forward if you're constantly looking back. Make the break clean, not out of bitterness, out of clarity, and then get to work. Hit the gym, not to post about it because it clears your head. Work on your career, your craft, the thing that made you feel alive before all this. Reach out to your people. Laugh again, build again, live again, and do it so fully that you forget to check if she's watching. Because when you reach that point, when your life is so rich and full that she's just a memory instead of a wound, that's when you've won. Not because she came. Your new beginning starts now back because you don't need her to. That's freedom. That's power. That's the life you deserve. If you're still here, you're ready. You're done with the excuses and the hoping and the waiting. You're ready to rebuild. So subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because you're choosing to be the kind of person who doesn't fall apart when someone leaves. The kind who gets better, stronger, clearer. This is where your story changes, not when she comes back. Right now, when you decide that no one gets to determine your worth ever again. That's the shift. That's the guarantee. Welcome to the next level. Let's build.